The health system in Libya is known for its weakness, yes, especially in the individualized medical care component, but the public health component was really strong for decades. There was horizontal expansion with more than 100 public hospitals and more than 1,400 primary care centers. But lately, for many reasons, even the public health component had weakened, especially with the multiple armed conflicts that occurred in the last decade in Libya. It had a direct and indirect effects on the health system, healthcare, and the health status of the population itself. There were many previous attempts for health reform. There were some international experts who came to the country. There were some local attempts and even international agencies. But there were so many obstacles that included the comprehensiveness of these proposals for reform, the political environment at that time, and the political will. In 2000, early fall of 2012, there was the H500, and that was a major health reform event in the country. It was guided by the WHO, the EMRO region, and then later was supported by the European Union. There were also other activities that involved the World Bank and some other international organization in particular part of the system itself. In 2013, for many reasons, the DG of the WHO Geneva, she had strongly advised of looking for other sources, but she focused especially on the most successful health reform story in the 21st century. She mentioned Turkey health reform in particular. And in 2017, a National Center for Health Reform was established. At the end of 2019 and early 2020, through BINA, program, there were multiple discussions on the subject and the need for health reform activity that would include also at the same time reform of the public administration itself. It's the whole system that needs to work better. We need re-engineering of the system, not only by certain measures of reform. And we cannot do this without, we cannot do reform without allocating the way that we allocate money, or we take administrative decisions, which are very important. And that's how the project came. Later we realized also that this public administration reform could have a parallel track, and that's what happened. And there was separation of the health reform and the public administration reform activities. The project started with the literature review of the status of the health in Libya, but we're also taking some advantage of the recommendation lessons from all over the world and what were the best practices in the world. We had a brainstorming session with the key stakeholders, including previous maybe about 3 ministers of health, and with directors of head of directorates at the Ministry of Health at many multiple periods of time. It included also current reform actors. There was also a quantitative survey, and all these results were compiled into one report that included also a roadmap and even what are the proposed different actions for reform. There was also these were peer-reviewed by national and international experts, and these were also presented in a validation workshop that occurred at the beginning of May.